Hello everyone and welcome to Hazimet Tech channel. Are you eager to start coding in Python and can't wait to write your first program? Well, you will be doing it very soon. But before that, you will need to set up your development environment. And the good news is that it is pretty straightforward. First, you will need to install Python and then an IDE or integrated development environment like Visual Studio Code, PyCharm or Jupyter Notebook or any other IDE that you prefer, and you'll be ready to go. But wait a minute, since this series is meant to be as beginner friendly as possible, we will even use a simpler setup. We will not install an IDE, so our final environment setup will simply be installing Python. Isn't that great? In fact, the main reason is that Python already comes with an integrated IDE when you install it, and I don't want to overwhelm those who are new to Python with an IDE before they first understand and get familiar with the Python interpreter itself. Well, I have to say that this integrated IDE that comes with Python when you install it, called idle, is quite basic and doesn't have as many features as other IDEs like VS Code, PyCharm or others. But it is enough to get started with, and I think that it is more suitable for beginners learning a programming language for the first time. Later you will have time to choose a more advanced IDE as you'll be more familiar with Python language. For those who are already familiar with another IDE, and maybe you're already using it with a different programming language, you're of course allowed to use it since you already have the hang of it, and it will not prevent you from focusing on Python as a new programming language for you. Later in this video series I will be introducing other IDEs and using one of them myself for the future videos. But still, you will always be free to choose whatever IDE or code editor that you'll be comfortable with at that time. So please don't worry too much about it for now. Before I start showing you how to install Python, you may want to pause the video and see if you already have Python installed in your machine. Just note that sometimes Python comes with the OS, especially Linux distributions. Some of them may include Python as part of their base installation. You can check it by typing Python 3 in your terminal if you're using Linux, or Python in CMD or PowerShell if you use Windows. Let's see how to do it in Ubuntu terminal. Type Python 3. So here I have Python installed in my machine, so I'll just quit. Note that if you type Python, you will see some output from the CLI command line interface like the following. It will suggest to you to use Python 3 instead of Python. Don't be confused because of these three that you will still probably encounter in your programming journey. In a nutshell, it's just because before Python 3 there was a Python 2. It has been officially deprecated and reached its end of life on January 1st, 2020. For Windows users, Microsoft Store may be automatically launched once you type Python and press enter. You can install Python from there. It's not the method that I'm going to show you in this video though, and not the one that I recommend. And that's mainly because Microsoft Store doesn't always have the latest versions of Python available. You can also type python -- version or python 3 -- version. If it is installed, it will show you the version of Python that you have. So in my case I have Python 3.10.12, and if it is not installed, the files will not be found and you'll see some message telling you that. If you have it installed, you're good to go. If you don't, no worries at all. I will show you in this video the easiest methods to install Python for Windows and for Ubuntu. I'm saying the easiest because there are many other methods for installing Python. I may show some of them in the future videos for anyone that it may interest. Let's start first installing Python on a Windows machine. Go to the Python official website, python.org, or search in Google by typing Python install or Python download. Python.org website should appear on the top search results. Okay, let's go to this website, and from here you can download the Python installer. So I click here, it's being downloaded. I open the file, and here please don't forget to check this one, add python.exe to path. When you do this, you will be able to execute Python just by typing Python in the command line without having to specify all the absolute path in your command. If you don't check this option, well, you'll still be able to catch up later and add Python manually to the system path. But I strongly recommend that you check this option and just let Python installer do it for you, which will be much easier. I will select the custom installation just to show you that in fact when you install Python, you are not only installing the interpreter that we've talked about in the previous video, but also documentation, standard library, and pip installer at the same time as you install the Python interpreter. So I just click next, and here you add install Python 3.12 for all users. And this is the location of the Python that will be installed. And click install. Yes. Okay, installation might take some time, so I just skip to the end of the setup process. And here you see that the setup was successful. You can disable the path length limit if you want. So I will just close it here, and you can go to CMD to check if Python is installed. So here we're on Windows, we can type just Python -- version, and here we go, we have Python 3.12.2. we can start it from here, and we can find it also from the programs in our machine. I just want to show you the IDLE. Okay, so this is Python 3.12 new, and you can launch the IDE from here. And we will start using it in the next video of this introduction to Python programming series. Let's go back to Linux now. On Linux machines, in our case it will be Ubuntu, you can use apt to download and install Python. If you have another Linux distribution, you can use the corresponding package management tool. In our case we are using Ubuntu, so we will install it using apt. First we need to update the package index. To update the package list using the following command, sudo apt update, and here we go. We do this to ensure that we're getting the latest and most accurate information from our repositories, and then we can install Python using apt. So sudo apt install Python 3. In my case, I've already Python installed in my machine, but yeah, so here it is already installed, but in your case it will be installed, and then you can check it using Python 3 version. And now your development environment is all set up. See you in the next videos where you're gonna write your first program in Python. Yes, you will. See you soon.